This is the time and date scheduled for a hearing regarding money damages in the matter of Daniel Penn versus Pete Edwards and Brittany Bowman. We were here on August 8th. We were here on March 17th for the tenancy thing. And we were here on August 8th and we didn't do very well. The complaint was very difficult to comprehend, unclear. Neither parties were very good at Zoom. So I rescheduled the matter for a hearing today. Set an in-person trial, directed the plaintiff to file a more specific complaint so we could determine what it was exactly he was requesting. The parties are all present. Mr. Pete Edwards is here. Ms. Brittany Bauman is here, and the defendant Daniel Penn is here. Also present is Megan Bauer from Legal Aid. She's not filed an appearance in this matter and is not, as far as I know, representing the defendants. But she is here observing. Is that accurate, Ms. Bauer?
Well, Judge, this one, I suppose, is on me. We were intending to file an appearance in this case, but we had been waiting for that more specific statement. I believe Ms. Bauman was hoping and anticipating, based on our representations to her, that we would be appearing on her behalf. I did not realize that this was an in-person hearing either. So if the court would allow me to appear remotely, then I would advocate and represent as attorney of record Ms. Bauman.
All right. The original complaint that I got for supplemental money damages, we didn't get very far. It alleged rent of from 4/2/25 of $5,200. Electric bill of $1,845, replace windows, doors, and smoke detectors, $307.85, garbage disposal, $400, and other $4,800, plus damages. The defendant's asking for costs. The total is $12,807.96. So as I indicated, we didn't get far. There was a lot of uncertainty, and so let's start out by Mr. Penn. Would you please raise your right hand, and would you both please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yeah.
All right. As I indicated, we had a possession hearing back in March, and they agreed to move by the end of March. And I gave them a move out date of March 31st of 2025. Defendant then files this saying that they owe $5,200 in rent. So Mr. Penn, how did you come up with that figure?
Well, okay, as of 1st of January, that they had paid, there's a little description on a big 8x10 blow up that I got there with the receipt. And they had paid $600 at that point that was applied to the arrears. There's also an explanation on that to Pete and Brittany, which would have brought them up to owing $3,600 at that point in January. Since then, you got February, March, April. It was actually May 7th, I think, before they left. My electric bills escalated.
All right, well, I'm not there yet.
I'm sorry.
We're just trying to figure out the rent figure. Now, I think we determined there was no lease.
Well, do have an written agreement here. And this was, written up back on, February 9th of 24. And it was, signed by Pete, and this agreement says,
Do you have a copy of it?
pardon me,
You have a copy of it?
I believe you have a copy up there, but I can bring this up, so the original, if you would like to. I can bring it up there.
This thing? Agreement with Pete?
Yeah.
All right, that ain't
That's
much of a
actually
lease.
A photo of this document here.
All right, well, how much was rent supposed to be each month?
$800 a month.
All right, agreement with Pete. Pay $700 for last month electric plus $300 a week until debt is caught up from rent due of $800 per month due for January, February for a total of $2,300 in arrears. There's no date on this. Signed. No, he didn't sign. Yeah, Pete signed it. Tenant. All right. So just rent. Do you guys agree that rent was $800 per month?
It was supposed to be, yes.
All right. All right, how did we come up with 5,200 for rent?
There would have been, I believe it was an explanation on their part of that was, a couple $100 a month toward the electric, that usage that they was responsible for their, for their electric usage. And, this electric bill just escalated up to.
Oh, we'll get to the electric bill in a minute. You're
Yeah.
the plaintiff
Yeah,
and you have the burden of proof.
okay,
So you have to prove to me beyond a preponderance of evidence that
yes,
they owe you this money.
right,
So I'm trying to help you, but I
Yeah.
ought to just say, all right, you tell, but you're not doing very good. I haven't even figured out how you calculated how much the rent is. We haven't even got to the hard stuff yet. So don't talk about anything other than rent.
okay,
You came up with $5,200.
okay.
All right, where did you get that number?
$800 a month. Last money that I received from them was on January the 3rd. And she gave me $600, and that was applied to the arrears. That was from January or 11/1/24 to 11/30/24. At that time, she had that their rent due was $2,200. They paid $600 that date, and that was applied toward the arrears, and that left a balance of $1,600. Now, December, January, December was due. January was due. That was applied back toward 11th month, so that left December due $1,000. That was $800 plus $200 for electric usage. And then January, at January 1st, another $1,000 was due. And
All
that
right,
would
you're
have
already
been
throwing me a
considering
curveball.
1,000,
All right,
200.
so rent is 800
Yes,
and then there's 200 more for utilities?
yes, gas, electric, yes.
But you have no lease.
Pardon me?
So where'd these numbers come out of? You just pulled them out of the air
No,
somewhere?
this right here, $800 a month was for the rent.
All right, where's the $200 for utilities?
Well, this was an agreement that the electric bill varies depending on the usage.
All right, well, let's get, I'm still trying to figure out how we got $5,200. You got some arrearage that I don't understand what it is, but let's just assume that it was correct. It was $2,200. They paid $600, and then you were fumbling around. So as of January 1, is it your contention that they owe $600?
They paid $600 on the 3rd.
All right, so
January
they,
3rd.
so on that date, the amount due is $1,600 as of January 1.
As of January 1. As of January 1, it went to another $1,000.
All right, we can't do $1,000.
Okay, let's go $800.
All right,
Let's knock it down. to
all right, well,
800.
how much rent was due on January 1?
I will have to say $3,200. Taken off the electric off from it.
Well, you said rent due was $2,200. They paid $600,
Yeah,
which left a balance of $1,600.
right.
As of what date?
As of what date? That was on, they paid, that was on that was on 1/3/25, that they gave me the $600.
All right,
I
so-
applied it to the rears.
All right, and so you said what was due then was $1,600.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's operate from that. Now, you're asking me for $200 a month for electric, which isn't in the lease, plus you're asking me for the electric bill. So you're double dipping, but let's just work on the rent. They
Okay.
agree it's $800. So let's assume that as of January 3rd, it is $800. So we'll go through as of Jan 1. All right, did they pay rent February, March, April, January, February, March, or April?
No,
All right, well, let's start with the first, no rent. January, February, or March. Now, they were supposed to be out by March 31st.
correct.
They were not?
No.
When did they vacate?
It would have been about the April 7th. They had to come out and give it, I think, officer came out, and give another eviction, told them they needed to be out. And they had not given my keys back or
All
nor
right,
have they
Ms.
get-
Bauman or Mr. Edwards, when did you,
I have a
what day
picture.
did you vacate?
We vacated on the 31st, like we were supposed to.
Okay,
I actually have pictures I took of my animals in the motel room on the 31st.
okay. So if 1,600 is due, we have January, February, and March, which is $2,400. 800 times 3. That makes $4,000 in rent. Do you agree no money was paid after January 1?
I do agree with that because we were trying to save up so we could move out because we had gotten the eviction notice.
All right,
So we had not gotten into an apartment yet. We had not gotten into anything yet. So we were trying to save up as much money as possible because it was still cold outside.
okay, you answered my question, you didn't pay any. All right, let's talk about the electric bill. In the complaint, you've got $1,845.06. Where'd you get that number?
Those was based off my electric bills, 700. I think I gave you some photos of the actual billing that I paid. Since they was there, they ran up the electric bill because it was, actually burned up, my electric stove heating the place with
All right,
it.
I don't, just tell me where you got the number. How did you get 1,018.4506?
That was just based off of,
Well, I'm not your accountant. You give me a bunch of pictures of stuff off your phone.
mhm.
So what adds up to 1,845.06?
Well, if I took, half of the, if I paid half of the $700, $800 electric bills, there was like 3 or 4 of them. And they would be responsible for the other half. It comes out to pretty well that.
How is that? You paid half and they paid half?
My electric usage usually never was more than $200 a month. Okay, that went up because of, they was heating with electric instead of putting the propane in the tank to heat the house with the furnace. So that's what drove the electric bill up. And in the process, they burned up a stove that, because they're not designed to heat with. And there's a picture of that got so hot that it melted the window, the motherboard in there. And that's also what was blowing the.
All right, well, you give me 3 electric bills. Is that what these are?
Yeah,
January 758.11. February 19th, 758.11. And March 20th, 796.95.
here's another one. Maybe you didn't get this one. It's 313 for 799.94. And it shows that I paid that
313 of 25.
313.25 was when I paid the electric bill for that. Usually do the 18th, so if I don't pay my electric bill, they shut me off.
I don't see, I see when you paid it, but I don't. And here's another one, January 21st, 414.93. $758.11 times 2. 796. Just a minute.
Yep. $1,211.80. Yes, Have the defendants received copies of these pictures that you're looking at?
no, I did provide them to view prior to the hearing, but he did not serve a copy of any of this on that.
I suppose to preserve the defendants would object to their admission. Just to preserve that objection, I guess.
I'm inclined to just let Mr. Penn suffer his losses, but the pictures show a pretty deplorable circumstance here.
Judge, can I ask Mr. Penn some questions on the record?
Yes, Mr. Penn, I've been trying to weave straw out of gold here, or gold out of straw, but I'm making straw out of gold. Your pleadings are so poor and you're so inexperienced in this that I'm very struggling. However, my struggle to help you can't go to the detriment of the defendants. You can't even answer a simple question like how much rent is owed or how you got the figure for the electric bill. Ms. Bauer is placed an appearance on behalf of Ms. Bowman. And she's going to ask you some questions and you're going to have a hard time answering them because you couldn't even answer my softball questions, but you are under oath. Go ahead, Ms. Bauer.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Penn, is this property on Finley Road?
Yes,
How are there multiple building structures on this property on Finley Road?
yes.
Judge, I'd like to request permission to share my screen.
Yes.
Mr. Penn, can you see my screen? Is there a picture in front of you of your property on Finley Road?
Yeah, it looks like an aerial view.
Okay. And is this where the tenants lived?
No, they lived up in the apartment, above the garage.
They lived in the apartment above the garage.
Yes. The other building to your left.
This one right here?
No, up higher, right,
This one.
right there. Yeah,
This one right
yeah,
here.
that building there, yes.
And isn't it true that the furnace did not work for the upstairs apartment at various times throughout this tenancy?
That is not true. It did break down, and I had a technician come out, analyze it, and he replaced a gas valve in it. And he fixed the furnace, but the furnace needs propane to run.
Okay. And isn't it true that a water pipe supplying the apartment or area upstairs above your garage broke several times?
It froze and broke because there was no heat coming from the furnace downstairs, which kept the downstairs heated.
And as
All right,
you
let
and
me start.
Mr.
What's downstairs under this apartment?
Well, the
Garage and wood shop.
the garage is shop, the furnace is down there, the water pump, all the plumbing. So that has to be kept heated to prevent pipes from freezing.
And so, as you indicated on the record, there is no lease that obligates the tenants to pay for propane, right? Do you have a lease?
Well, let him answer the question.
that was discussed with them. There's a separate propane tank out there.
All right, that wasn't the
Yeah,
question. That
actually-
wasn't the question.
Yeah, well,
All right, do you have a lease that says they had to pay for propane?
no, I don't have a lease,
All right.
not a written one, other than,
All right, that
that
answers the
agreement.
question.
Okay. And you testified a minute ago that that furnace runs on propane.
correct.
And you also testified a minute ago that, or you alluded a minute ago, that when there is no propane, there is no heat. And because there was no heat, the pipes froze. So the pipes did freeze?
Yeah, the pipes froze.
Okay.
No, they didn't.
That's why I had to shut the water off, because water was running right down,
The
right
pipes
down on
not
my.
very-
Just a minute, I didn't ask you to, you'll have a chance to speak.
So you did shut the water off on these tenants then?
I had no choice. The water was running down. Yeah, I had to go shut off the pump, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the water pipes was frozen, you can't just let the thing run with frozen pipes.
Now, there are unfinished walls inside this apartment above the garage, right?
Okay. I'm not sure what you're asking me, but
Okay. Is there exposed drywall in the unit that you rented out?
there was some, and Pete had agreed that he was gonna finish painting that up when the and I was gonna knock it off the rent. But he never did when they replaced the roof back last year. And replaced the flooring and the door and the sidewall and stuff. So they did all those repairs, and then Pete said that he was gonna finish off any painting of that room. So I'm like, okay, well,
It
that's,
was painted.
I didn't have a problem with that.
It was painted.
He would
All right,
have
you
been
just-
compensated for it if he would have done it, but he did not
Mr.
even do that.
Edwards,
I'm sorry.
if you were in a Zoom, I'd mute you. You'll get a chance to speak if we even get that far.
Right.
Let me ask a couple questions. Does the township know there's an apartment above this garage?
Well, I'm sure they probably do.
Is there a separate septic system for this
There is
apartment
a separate septic system.
and a separate well?
There is a separate well, yes.
All right, how long has it been there?
Been there for years. I just took over the farm back in '08.
Yeah,
And
if
it
this
was
was,
already,
you can't generally put two residences on the same piece of property.
really,
And in this, well, you've got two wells and two septics, so maybe that's permitted. You certainly couldn't do this in the city of Three Rivers or Sturgis, but out in the townships, there's not very strict zoning enforcement. In order for them to heat their apartment, they also had to heat your garage and workshop downstairs through the furnace. And there is no provision that they pay utilities. When you don't have a lease, you don't have the protection that a lease provides. You're talking about, well, there was a verbal agreement for this, there was a verbal agreement for that. This isn't small claims court, this is general civil court in a landlord tenant proceeding. And true point of fact, this place is probably not even legally rentable. It certainly wouldn't have passed any code inspection. And
Judge, we haven't even asked about the chicken coop yet. and the electric usage. But ultimately, the defendants would argue that Mr. Penn is not entitled to a single penny more than he's already received, because throughout the course of the tenancy, during which rent was paid, there were periods of time without water and without heat. He had a duty as a landlord to supply heat, and he didn't, whether that was through propane or because the furnace needed to be repaired. As a landlord, he had a duty to supply water, and he didn't, whether that was because he had failed to supply heat or because he's failed to have this well tested for water safety, or any other reason. The tenants were without water for an extended period of time. The tenants were without heat for various periods of time. This unit is an
All right,
this
well,
is an
let me ask
unfinished
you,
unit.
let me stop you for a minute. Ms. Bauman, during that winter between January and when you vacated in March, how much of that time were you without a furnace?
Pretty much all winter. And I have several messages printed
All
out
right,
here.
how much of that time are you without water?
Since I do believe it was December. It was more than a few weeks. It was over a month. We had to buy several water bottles. Or jugs of water. We had to boil water to take showers. We had to boil water to.
How did you flush the toilet?
We had to take a water jug and dump it down the toilet.
All right, that was in January? For how long?
Well, I think it was December. We were out without water. It was quite a long time.
Okay,
We had to spend a lot of money just to buy water, just to take showers and to do dishes and to water our two dogs.
And Ms. Bowman, did you pay for propane at various points in time?
Yes, we did. We did, and I have called to get the proof of that, the receipts of that, but they said that they could not. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking because I can't see you. But they said that they could not send me proof because every single receipt was in Dan's name because he did not have it put in our name. So there's no distinguishing who paid what. So they could not send me the receipts because they were all in Dan's name.
all right. Could you take your screen share down?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Well,
Judge.
let me leave it up for a minute. Mr. Penn, do you live on this property too?
Do I? Yeah. I live
All
there.
right, so they live above the garage and then you live in the house?
Yes, correct.
Okay. What are all these cars on the property?
Well, there's some of them that are just broken down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Been
12.
getting rid of some of them.
All right,
They just sometimes it accumulates through the years. I do have a video here that where the pipes was frozen and broken,
all right.
and it was time stamped.
Would you?
Meg, would you take the screen share down?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Okay. Go ahead. I don't need to see it. Ms. Bauer has convinced me. I don't want to be your enforcer for $12,807.96 for this untenable tenancy with a not lease written on a piece of 5.5 by 7-inch paper. That lease did not require them to pay utilities. You had an obligation as the landlord to provide heat. You also had an obligation as a landlord to provide water. You're charging them $1,000 a month because they're in a residence of last resort. When in true fact, this property could not be rented if it had to pass any sort of an inspection. So the rent component is zero. The electric bill is zero. You failed to provide propane. And because of that, they had to run electric heat. They had to pay for water. This tenancy is so poor. Now, granted, they didn't exactly treat it with, they left junk all over the place. And it didn't look very great, but I don't find that you've met the threshold of providing basic covenants of habitability. And we could spend 5 more hours exploring that. But you either need to get this property inspected and allowable as a tenancy, or get out of the landlord business. But I find that damages are zero. This is a hard lesson learned. You got into this thing without following the Landlord-Tenant Relationship Act, without understanding the obligations of the landlord. You got into it because you didn't have anywhere else to go. But I'm not ordering that you pay anything. I did remove you from the premises, which is something that had to happen. But money damages are zero. All right, yes.
We were not removed. We moved out on our
Well,
own.
he started the termination of tenancy,
Yeah,
and then we talked and you agreed to move, but
Yeah.
absent that, you probably would have been there longer. But I can't, there's some minimum standard that I don't know what it is, but we haven't met it. All right. Mr. Penn, let me repeat, you need to get this thing up to code or get out of the landlord business, because this costs you a lot of money. All right, if you take Mr. Penn out to the counter, you can get a copy of this. I'll hold on to this, just take him on to the order.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Bauman,
We were trying to determine how many angels could fit on the head of a pin when there's a basic fundamental failure to provide habitable property. Oh, yeah, he's coming to get it. And then when he leaves, I'll have the other party go out. All right. I don't know what kind of shape it was left in, but hopefully you found a better tenancy than this for $1,000 a month. All right. Why don't you wait about 5 minutes and you go out to the counter and you can get a copy of the same
Can I
thing.
say something?
No, we're done. He didn't get any money. You guys get on with your life and he can get on with his.